No juice.
Check, check, check. There we go.
Okay. Can they hear us on the call?
I assume so, but I don't know for sure.
Can you guys hear us on the call? Thumbs up. Okay, awesome.
Chat says yes. Weird.
Guess I should get in the picture thing. Can you click? Can you?
I would love to click for you.
You click, okay.
Yeah. Are we ready?
Ready? Oh, you're the one talking.
I'm nervous. No.
Are you?
No.
I just ate pizza, so. All right, we're good.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll wing it.
All right.
Go.
All right, let's.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to Side Jug. I'm Neil. I help out. This is Kyle over here. He's gonna be the one talking at you. Side Jug or C Jug, some people call it. We're a volunteer-led user group for app developers in Central Iowa. Our purpose is for learning, teaching, sharing, networking, with a special friendliness towards Java, JVM ecosystems. Doesn't have to be, but that's what we do. Everyone's welcome. All those people, even if you don't do code, you're also welcome because we just like to learn and it's good to have different perspectives. There's our LinkedIn. Come give us a follow. Yeah, you were supposed to, yeah, that was that's all right. We have monthly meetups. We're hybrid, so in person and on Zoom. Third Thursday of each month, about 37-ish. Sometimes we adjust those, but that's our regular cadence. If you want to speak, we have a sessionized link. It's also on our meetup page. Anything is open, whether it's a lightning talk, you want to get a group together, do like a powwow on something. Yeah. Feel free. We're open to pretty much anything. So, and bring a friend. Next event will be October 16th. We don't have a title yet, but it is Kubernetes based. So if you like those things, do it. That was, yeah.
I went too far.
Yeah.
The one time I tried to help.
So I'm going to give this to Kyle now. He's a pretty smart dude. He likes Java. So here you go.
Okay.
Give it up for Kyle.
Woo, woo, woo. All right. We'll see how this goes, guys. I cannot, or I'm not smart enough to man the chat at the same time. So if somebody's like chatting and says I should do something, yell at me. All right. Should we get cracking? Let's get cracking. I got to move this little Zoom thing that's like showing up on my screen too. Hide. That's all right. We'll make it work. Okay. Like Neil said, my name is Kyle. If I click on the right thing, I can advance the slides. My name's Kyle Hoehns. It's spelled weird, but it's Hoehns. I think it's German. I don't know. I am I'm a consultant here at Source Allies. I am one of the organizers of Central Iowa Java Users Group. I am a dad/husband, big into like coaching my kids' youth sports, which I didn't think I would get into, but I am. And Hawkeye fanatic. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of things. I'm sorry, Carter. I like the Hawks. I went to the Iowa. I was born in Iowa City, so I'm like, I have to, right? That's how that works. Okay, next. This is enough about me. This is Rod Johnson. We're going to talk about Rod a little bit. Rod did one of these things. So Rod either created Hibernate, created the Spring Framework, wrote effective Java, or created Maven. Let's do I'm going to do like a show of hands here. Anybody think Hibernate for Rod? Nobody thinks Hibernate. How about Spring? All right, I got 3 hands for Spring. Effective Java. We got a couple over there. Maven. That's everybody else went Maven. All right. If you pick Spring, you are the winners. Rod Johnson created the Spring Framework back in 2003. And basically, for those that don't know Java that well, it really enabled developers to write kind of like much better apps in a better way than what was available kind of with the old framework and the way things used to work. And now if you're in Java, you have probably seen Spring in about everything. It's hard to talk Java without talking Spring because they're like almost synonymous. But now Rod is leading a project called Embabel. So you can think of like enable, I'm going to enable something, but it's Embabel is the new framework that he has created. And he just open sourced it in May of this year. So it's been out for a couple months, fairly new. What is Embabel? Why do I want to care about this? This is an agent framework on the JVM that's going to plan actions and then call your own code. So we're in this crazy world of LLMs and building agents and building agentic applications. And Embabel is kind of here to try to make it easier for us to do that on the JVM because what has classically been kind of a Python thing. Embabel is written in Kotlin. So if I was like doing this the native Embabel way, this would be a Kotlin talk, but I don't know Kotlin as well as Java. So I'm doing it in Java, but it's basically a first-class citizen in both Kotlin and Java. It is built on top of Spring. So it's built on top of Spring, Spring Boot, and Spring AI, which we will kind of showcase all of that. And also contains this thing called a GOP planner that we will talk about also in a little bit. So there's a lot of cool things around Embabel. And why should Java teams care about this framework? Kind of like I said earlier, there's so much right now that is wanting to utilize LLMs, right? You might be building some agentic applications in your enterprise. You're looking for some way to either call LLMs or build an agentic app that can get called by other LLMs in a big chain, and you guys can just go crazy. And if you're doing that right now, most of the times you are using Python. And I know that sends shivers down all your spines, but it works, right? It's the thing that everybody's using. But we, as enterprise Java devs, we like our enterprise Java control, right? We like to run on the JVM. We know it works. We know it can have multi-threading. We know it has type-safe tooling. We know it can be built on Spring. All that great stuff that is available on enterprise. Prior to Embabel, it has felt like you've had to leave the comfort of your enterprise Java control to come over to do things with the LLM. But Embabel is planning to kind of cut the difference and meet in the middle and allow you to do both by providing type-safe tools, native Spring Boot integration, and then plans, which you'll see in a little bit about how your code is going to run. All right, let's talk about GOAT. And it's not goat with a T, although this goat is kind of cool. He's licking a Dorito, which I didn't realize. I think I've seen this GIF 100 times. Somebody's holding out like an orange Dorito and he's licking it. I don't know. It doesn't show up as well up here. Not goat, but GOAP. All right, so GOAP was popularized, I believe the early 2000s is what I saw. A video game called Fear popularized. This is an AI algorithm, and I want to say AI algorithm, not LLM algorithm, but an AI algorithm that was originally introduced in video games to like deal with enemies. So if I'm like an enemy, maybe old video games, the enemy would just, have a planned path. It would just walk these squares and walk these squares and kind of move itself around. GOAP was popularized taking one action and then replanning. So if I'm an NPC or I'm somebody in a video game, maybe I take one step and then I can kind of replan what my next action should be based on the current state of the world. So what I can do is maybe, pre this algorithm, if I was playing a video game, I could put a box in front of an enemy and they would like sit here and just walk into the box. They're like, I can't go on my path. After this algorithm comes out, once I see a box, I can now realize the algorithm says, oh, there's something in my way. Maybe I have actions I can take and I can step on top of the box, or I can move around the box, or I can shove the box out of the way, whatever it be. And your main goal with GOAP is to have a goal that you want to choose. So we choose a goal, like I want to get across the room. In order to achieve that goal, I continuously determine the state of the world around me, take one action, and see if I've achieved my goal. If I haven't achieved my goal, I come back and I do the exact same thing. It's just this constant loop of seeing what's available around me in order to get towards my goal. And we will demo this throughout the process, or throughout this demo, but that's where we're going to try to go. I think I went too far. No, I didn't. Okay. What we're going to do is we've got a demo. I'm going to live code. I have an existing Spring Boot app that we're going to dig into. It is an e-commerce application. So we can think of it as like a back end to an e-commerce app. Maybe you've got, a front end, and this is going to be the back end that handles like retrieving information about orders, inventory, returning and replacing orders. And so we're going to build an agentic app that's going to help us refund or replace orders. And so we're going to go throughout the next demo here, and we're going to say, hey, if I'm a user wanting to type in, I want to type in a message that says like, hey, order 123, my medium shirt's got a hole in it or it's too small. Can you send me a new one? And what we're going to do is we're going to try to use an LLM to determine some sentiment, what the intent is, and then use our existing business logic to actually do the refund or replacement. And basically what we're going to do is Embabel is going to allow us to take all of our existing things that we have, and these are hard to read up here, I'm sorry. But we've got like little methods. This box, this gray box here I'm trying to show is our existing Spring application. So we've got an existing app that might have an API that can get an order or check inventories or refunds orders. And these are all little methods that just exist in our app. We're going to go through and turn these little methods into tools or actions that the GOAP planner can use to go from starting, taking a user's request, parsing through our app, and eventually achieving our goal. And with the response or the goal, end of a goal is going to be that our agent gives us back some message that says, hey, thanks for letting us know. We're going to replace your order and it'll be done in 3 to 5 business days. Some fancy message that's going to feed through our whole system. And that is me being done with slides because everybody hates slides. We hate it. All right. I am going to talk quick about what we have here. So I have, like I said, this is a Spring. Is it code size is okay for everybody? Bigger, smaller, we're good? Okay, I'm seeing thumbs up. Okay. I know, I'm sorry. Usually light works better in demos. I hate light background. This hurts it hurts me. I'm sorry. If I could do dark, I would do dark, but it wouldn't work. Okay. This is, okay, so latest, greatest Spring Boot version. Java 21, I'm sorry I didn't do 25. That came out this week, but I didn't have time to flip it. And all we have is Spring Boot Starter Web. So we have this tiny little application. And I'm going to walk through kind of an example of what the API that I have right now is, just so we're on the same page on where we're starting. So I've got an API that can retrieve an inventory, if this ever works. There we go. So I've got, hey, get my inventory. So I can see, for the purpose of this demo, we're going to have an e-commerce app that's got some like shirts. So we've got medium shirts, large shirts, extra large shirts. If I want to, I can retrieve an individual shirt. We also have orders. So we have inventory and we have orders. Our 2 orders that we're going to work with throughout this demo are going to be medium shirts and large shirts down here. We also have it built in where if I want to, I can create orders. So if I want to make a new order, I can create a new order and I get a new one down here. And what we're also going to be able to do is process refunds on orders. And we're going to do replacement orders. And eventually what can happen is we do have some business logic in here where if the inventory runs out, we will get messages saying, hey, this is an HTTP 409, there's insufficient inventory for replacement. So it's an app that has plenty of business logic, and this is pretty common to what you're probably used to seeing in a general Spring app, wherever you're at. I do want to show, basically the code here is set up to where, again, this should all look like nothing new. We have an orders REST controller. All we have is a whole bunch of methods here that do the creations of orders, retrieving of order. It doesn't do anything fancy. All the logic, like a good app is built into these service layers. And the service layers, for us, the purposes of this demo, I just have an in-memory map of the orders. This could be calling a database. It could be calling another service. Doesn't really matter. It's still Spring. But for the purposes of this demo, I thought it'd be easier to get this and just have some orders in memory. All right. So we are all on the same page. Now, let's start doing Embabel. Embabel, like I said, is relatively new. We're going to add the dependency for the Embabel agent starter. Now, this is version 0.1.1. You'll realize this is very, very new. Should I use this in production, Kyle? No, you should not. Do not do this. This is a brand new framework, but it's from a cool guy, and this is a new thing. If you've got something fun that you want to toy with, feel free to do it. But like even from, I think I started working on this from 0.1.1, and I think there's a 0.1.2 now, and there were some breaking changes. So it's just like, know this is coming. This is gonna be cool, I think, but I wouldn't go like push this on your CTO tomorrow. Okay, so we've got the Embabel dependencies in. Because this is a snapshot and it's new, we have to add a custom kind of repository on where their snapshots are stored. Their snapshots aren't in Maven Central, so they're hosted here, so you have to add both of those. Also, this code, I'm going to share a link at the end. All this code is available on my GitHub, so I'll give you guys links to this at the end if you want to see it. Okay, So with that in place, let's go build a new agent. We're going to call this like support agent Java. I don't think I had to call it Java. Okay, cool. All right. Now this is Java. So what's the first thing we're going to put above this class? It starts with an A. It's an annotation. Okay. Annotation. Okay. So since this is an agent, we are going to make an agent annotation. That agent annotation is going to take a description in. What does this class, this class is going to represent an agent. What does this agent do? So we can give it a description. Helps customers with their orders, something like that. Doesn't have to be super fancy. That description is going to help Embabel choose what agent to use when the app starts up. So you, like this app could have multiple agents within it. We're going to just have one. That agent is going to return something. So we're going to return a structured response. I'm going to start with a record, and we're going to call this like an order adjustment response. And maybe it's going to have a string order ID. It's going to have an operation type. That operation type is going to be, it's an enumeration I've got in the repo that is either refund or replace. And then we're also going to have like a string message inside of it. So that's the structure that we are going to return with our app. And in order to get this to start, an agent is going to have, we're going to have a function that returns this order adjustment response. So we'll have a public order adjustment response. We'll just call it adjust order. Oops, adjust order. Now, let's return a new order adjustment response. And we're just going to start with something simple. We'll say the order ID is ORD123. The operation type is a replacement for sure. And then we'll just say, hello, side jug, something like that. Simple code, doesn't look that fancy. The only two things we got to add here, an agent, there's a couple annotations that get used because this is Java and Spring. An agent has actions. And so an agent, all these methods or methods that you want to allow the agent to invoke are called actions. And then the final action, or like the thing that that agent can complete is their goal. We mark this action as achieves goal. So this action, when it is completed, achieves the goal of the agent. And you give that goal a description as well. So this, we're going to help customers refund or replace their orders. So this helps customers refund or, oh, if I could spell, or replace an order. With that in place, that's really all we need to get started. So I'm going to show us, oh, I lied. We also have to go to the application.properties. The application. We have to enable agent shell. What this is doing is basically allowing us to invoke our agent via like a command line shell. Let me zoom this way in. All right. I have a script in here that is going to kick it off for us. Let's see if I can make it big enough everybody can read, hopefully. We'll make it beefy. All right, it finally starts up. It is way down at the bottom, so I apologize. Let's see. Is this visible? You guys can't really see this, can you? No. I don't know how to put it up top. We'll make it work. What? Control L. Command L? No, that's going to go to a line. You're going to make me kill my app. Okay, so let's we'll make it work. So I'm going to type in like hello. You type in X down here. It's hard for you guys to see in the corner, but there's an X. It's going to be like, I want to execute something. So you say, hello, I'd like to get a refund on order ORD. If I could type ORD 123. And we type that in and we send it off. And we should be able to see, we got a response back. Hey, here's some JSON. Here's your structured response of order ID 123. And we got replaced with hello side jug. So not that cool. What I do want to call out, though, is I really like this Embabel framework, the way it does logging. So you can see here, here's what we typed in. You'll see some message. This text does not show up as well up there as it does up here. But this is saying, hey, here's kind of some information I have. And it's going to say, right away, I'm going to choose an agent. I have this user input. We're going to choose an agent we want to run. Turns out I'm going to choose the support agent. And I'm 100% confident because it's the only agent in the app. And then we'll go down. And it says, all right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to plan from this stuff. And what I want to call out is this ready to plan from. These things here are kind of the world state that the app knows. So here you can see a has run. So have I ran this adjust order method yet? No. And do I have an instance of an order adjustment response? No. That's my current world state. Based on what I know and what my goal is that I want to call this, this is the goal I want to get to. Then it just says, all right, I've formulated my plan. My plan that I want to run is I'm going to call adjust order. Pretty simple now. We'll see how it gets crazier later. But it knows what method it wants to call. It then executes that method, that action, and then it gets ready to plan again. And at this point, it's going to plan, and you can see here, you can't really see because the colors are goofy, but basically at this point, both of these are set to true. So before when it said I didn't call it and I don't have an instance of it, they were false. Now they're true. And it says, hey, because those are true, I've achieved my goal. I did everything that this thing needed me to do. And then I can return kind of my hello side jug, welcome, super simple starting point. All right, that's cool, but how do we do something really cool, Kyle? Because that was kind of boring. What we're gonna do is we're gonna now take the user's request, right? We gave them a string. We're gonna show how we can use an LLM to parse out the request that they asked for. So let's make another record here. Let me make this smaller so you guys can see it. Public record, this is gonna be called like a parsed response. Parsed request? Yeah, we'll call it parsed request. Parsed request. This is gonna take in another string order ID. This is also gonna take in the operation type. And I'm also gonna I have a sentiment enumeration as well. That operation type enum that we talked about, I either want to do a refund or a replacement. And the sentiment is going to be, is their message positive, neutral, or negative, basically. So we're going to take that parsed request and we're going to build another method. All we're doing is just building functions over and over and over. All right, public parse request, parse request. Now, we're going to give this an action tag, as this is another action that the agent can run when it starts to start up. At this point, we can't do anything, but Embabel gives us a couple things. So Embabel, by default, gives us this user input class. Guess what's in there? It's the user's input. So we'll have that. And then there's also an operation context. The operation context is going to contain things. If we want to, we can kind of store things and reference things off of the world state that was exposed earlier in the logging. But it also gives us a hook to call a prompt runner. So we'll be able to use an LLM based on a variable off of context. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a prompt quick that we're going to call an LLM with. We'll say like, you are a helpful customer support agent. Helping customers with their orders. Please parse the following user request. And then we'll just give it like a %s. And we'll format it and we'll send it in user input dot content. And I spelled this wrong, but the LLM probably doesn't care. So all this is doing, this is like a very simple prompt, but we can return then from then context dot dot prompt runner. So we're going to get it off of the context. We're going to hook to the prompt runner, and the prompt runner is going to allow us to do a whole bunch of stuff if we wanted to. And I'm not going to go into that because this would take forever, but this is like an Embabel 101. If you wanted to use a different LLM, or if you wanted to use different tool groups, or you wanted to have other agents be able to be called from this LLM, all of that's just hookupable right in here. But all we're going to do is call create object and give it our prompt. And we're going to say, hey, I want you to send this to the LLM, and when it comes back, I want you to give me an instance of parsed request.class. So pretty tiny. We're going to send that off to the LLM. It'll make this parsed request for us. Now, if we were to rerun the app right now and invoke it, what I want you guys to try to understand here is this would not get called because the GOAP planner says, hey, this is my goal I want to achieve. And in order to do it, all I need to do is just call this method. I don't need to do anything else. So in order for us to like actually start hooking things up so the planner will make the right plan, this thing can take in a parsed request. And at this point, the planner is going to say, oh, I need to call adjust order. But in order to call adjust order, I need a parsed request. And it just so happens that I have an action that will give me a parsed request. So let's, instead of just doing the hard coded stuff here, let's do parsed request order ID, parsed request dot operation type. And then instead of a message, we'll do parsed request dot sentiment dot to string. And so we'll just see if it kind of put things together the right way for us. So let me kill the app and start it back up. Now this is going to run. I have behind the scenes, I've got an OpenAI API key that's like in my environment variables that this is going to interact with. If you want to do Anthropic's out of the box. You can also have support for like local models, whatever works for you. But I'm going to type in the same message here. Help me out with order ORD 1, 2, 3, and let's do it like thanks, and then do like less than 3. And let's see if it's positive. I don't know. We'll see if it works. All right, cool. So we asked for order ORD 1, 2, 3. You can see here we said, hey, I'd like a refund. Refund, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we had the smiley face. So of course we were positive, right? Pretty simple. I didn't have to do anything. Now behind the scenes, this is probably not a good prompt. Maybe LLMs are better now than they used to be, but I'm just like, hey, take this thing and make it work. And it just mapped it out for me. I think behind the scenes, Spring AI is adding some extra goodies to here that says, hey, this thing's asking for you to give back an instance of a parsed request. So here's the JSON I want you to subscribe to. Here's all the options you can have, all that good stuff. But me as an app developer, I don't have to care. It just works. It's really kind of surprising how well it worked. I do want to go back and show you the planning again on how this hooks together. Again, we're going to formulate a plan. And the first plan you can see here is kind of chains together, where we have first I'm going to call parse request. After I call parse request, I'm going to call adjust order. And so it does that. You'll see in here, hey, I'm going to call GPT-4.1 Mini to do that. I got a response from the LLM. I bound it. And now I'm ready to plan again. My next step. I did one thing. What's the next action I should take? And you can see here that, hey, I've got some of the things I didn't have before. And then it realizes the next step and the next step, and it works its way through. Also kind of cool if you're playing with it, it'll show you which LLMs were used, how many tokens you use, and the total cost. This is like fractions of a penny. I put like $10 in my OpenAI account, and I've been doing this several times, and I think I have like $9.80 left. So don't be worried that you're gonna like break the bank if you want to play with this stuff. Okay, so that's cool, but that's just like just generic LLM stuff. How do we take this to the next level? And this is where I think a lot of the cool, I don't know, like we were all talking about Python previously. This is where I think it's really great that I can build these agents right into my existing apps if I want to, that use my existing services, use all my existing business logic. And it's just Spring. So for me, this is really easy. We are going to now we parse the user's request. Now let's go and grab their order that they actually asked about. So we can just do a private final order service, and inject it. Now that I have an order service, we just keep going. We're just going to build another action. So I'm going to go build, let me scroll up for you guys. I'm going to go build another action, and it's going to be public order, get order. Now I already have an order. This is my existing domain object that exists in my app. I don't have to go build this same thing in Python and call an API. This is already built into my app. I can just call return order service dot get order. Now we need to have something that came into this app. And at this point, we have something that we think has that has the order on it, and that's that parsed request. So now we're gonna say, hey, in order to retrieve an order, I need the user's parsed request. I can say parsed request dot get order ID. I want to get that order, and this is an optional. So if for some reason that service or that order does not exist in our inventory or in our repository or wherever that lives, I just return a null, and it will work. I'll show you that in a little bit. So now that we've got an order, again, look how easy that is. We're building tiny little building blocks that the agent can just use if it thinks it needs to. Let's build another one. We're going to have a new way. We're going to retrieve the order, and then we're going to try to do a replacement on the order is what we're going to try to do. So what I want to return is another record of like an adjusted order. And that adjusted order is going to take in an order for the original order, like what was the original thing that I had, and then an order for a new order, or like an updated order. It's like if I do a replacement, or I want to get like a new one shipped to me, here's my original order, here's the new one I shipped out, and then what happened. So we'll say and an operation type, something like that. That'll be our, that'll be our adjusted order record. And again, we just build another action. It's going to be public, adjusted order, replace order. And guess what this takes in? It takes in an order, right? This is our original order. And at this point, we already have a hook to our order service. So we just say var new order equals order service. Oops, sorry. Order service dot replace, and we give it the order ID, and that'll give us our new order, and we return a new adjusted order, and we can give it the order that was our original order, our new order, and we can give it operation type dot replace. So very, very little code. And again, if you've got a Spring Boot app or you have an app somewhere, you have all these functions. I guarantee you have these. And now we're just tying them into agents really easily. And we haven't explicitly coded any of this. And again, if we were to run this right now, because I'm just gonna hound on this. If we were gonna run this right now and retry to run the agent, it is only gonna parse the request, because that's the only thing this is asking for. In order for me to achieve my goal, the only thing I need is to parse the user's request. So if we change this and don't take in a parsed request, but we take in the adjusted order, all of a sudden it's going to be smart enough to chain everything together for us. I also want to change our order adjustment response to not have a string of the order ID. We'll have an order original order. We'll have the order new order, the operation type, and a message. And if we go back up here, we can really quickly add all that together and say adjusted order.original, adjusted.new. We can give it the adjusted order operation type, and then we'll say some message like, we did it. I don't know. Eventually, we're going to put something cool in that message, but not quite yet. All right. With all that in place, we're going to go back and we're going to run it again. If we did it right, we'll see what happens. We got to pay the Java tax on server startup here. 7 seconds. Okay. I apologize on it being on the bottom, but we're going to put the exact same message. So this is going to be, hey, I would like to get a replacement on order ORD 123. Thanks. Happy smiley face. Well, let's see if it works. Oh, look at that. I put the wrong one in. Stack trace. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a sec. You didn't see that happen. The cool thing, and we'll get to that in a little bit, is that failed because of a like an existing business use case of like, this shouldn't be allowed to happen, which is great because sometimes that doesn't happen if you're building agents off to the side. So replacement on order 456. Order 456 is for a medium shirt, and there's lots of those in the inventory right now. The other one was for a large shirt, and we didn't have that in inventory, and that's why it blew up. So if we run this, we should see eventually this will go through. And I apologize again for the coloring, but you'll see here we got the response back. Here's our original order for 456 for a medium shirt. Here's your new order, 1001 for a medium shirt. We did a replacement, and we did it. Pretty cool, right? We didn't have to do much. I do want to show you the plan again, because I think that's the most important part of most of this. The agent makes a plan. Hey, first we need to get the order. After we get the order, actually, I lied. It goes even farther back, doesn't it? Let's go back one more. Yeah. We're going to parse the user's request. After we parse the request using LLM, we're going to call get order. After we've gotten the order from the database, we're going to call replace and then tell the user that we're all done. And it plans its way all the way through that. And actually, because it's calling our existing business logic, you can see things like this where, hey, inside of our order service, we're actually making the replacement order. Maybe we have an email service that like when our agent or when our existing app replaces an order, we send the users an email. Because we're using our existing services, the user is still getting an email. I don't have to tie that into my Python app on the side that I'm using to build up this agentic application. So tied in really well, and it just works. So a couple things I want to talk about. We already hit one of them with the accidental explosion, but I also want to type in if I want to do an order that does not exist. So if I do some order, big number 999, whatever, that doesn't exist in my database, any ideas on what's going to happen if I run this? Thoughts? An order that doesn't exist, that we didn't code for it. It's going to crash. That's what a Python app would do. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. All right, this is kind of cool. We get this message back. I'm sorry, I don't know how to proceed. So this is kind of cool, and this is where the GOP planner, I think, makes it pretty fun. You can see here that our process, gifted Satoshi, is stuck. There's no handler. So at this point, what the app is telling us is that I don't know what to do, right? You've told me the actions I'm allowed to do in the world state that I have, but I don't know how to move to that next step. I'm stuck. I didn't make something up. I didn't hallucinate something. I didn't blow up, but I'm stuck. And I'm sorry, I don't know how to proceed. And so you can see here, because it prints out the world for us, you can see that it called get order. So get order here is true, but do I have an instance of an order? I don't. It's false. And so at this point, there's nothing in the app that gets me to that next step. And instead of blowing up or instead of guessing and hallucinating, it just stops. And so that's kind of cool. This, if you want to, Embabel is set up to where you can implement like an interface called stuck handler, and you can say, if I get stuck, then I'm going to X. Maybe I'm going to send a message to an actual customer support person, or maybe I'm going to reprompt the user, say, hey, I don't know what that order is. Can you ask me again? So really cool that worked like that. Let's see. I also wanted to re-show that order 1, 2, 3. So again, this is order 1, 2, 3. This is going to give us a stack trace because order 1, 2, 3 does not have the way that we've coded it right now. There's insufficient inventory for replacement for order 1, 2, 3. We don't have anything. You wanted a replacement for a large shirt. There's no more large shirts in the store. You can't get one, right? Another great reason that we are using our existing business logic instead of, I've been in enough places, I'm sure you guys have too, where you've got your business logic in 2 spots and all of a sudden things get out of whack. This is just here, it works great. This is gonna blow up. So how do we fix this, right? Right now, we don't want users to blow up. What we want the users to do, and our business has told us in this imaginary demo, is that if I ask for a replacement, but there's not inventory, we're just gonna give him a refund, right? So, hey, send me a new medium shirt. Sorry, we don't have one. We'll just give you a refund. Don't worry about it. Right? That's what they want to happen. So let's go through and start talking about what that looks like. So we talked a lot about agent annotations, and agents can achieve goals using actions. And one of the things we haven't talked about is conditions. So we're going to talk about conditions a little bit. What I want to do is I don't want to be able to call replace order in that condition where there's no inventory. So again, we're going to inject, private final inventory service. We've got a service that'll give us our inventory. We can automatically construct that. And we're going to build another action. Actually, not an action, sorry, a condition. So this is going to be at condition. And we're going to make it a Boolean. Public Boolean should replace. And our order, we want to be able to replace it. So we want to replace if there's no inventory or user asked for a replacement. Or actually, or if user, is that right? Replace if there's no inventory. Now I'm blanking on what we'll figure it out when I don't remember what it is. Basically what we're going to do here is we're going to take in the order. That's not it. Order. And we're going to say var has inventory equals inventory service dot get quantity order dot skew. So is there anything in the service that has that? And we're going to return if it doesn't have inventory. I think I do and should I replace it if no inventory and user asked? Oh yeah, asked for a replacement. So at this point, we've taken an order and we also taken a parsed request. So if you don't have an inventory and operation type dot replacement dot equals parse request dot operation type. So in that scenario, we have this new condition. These conditions have names. So we're going to call this one should replace. And that condition by itself isn't quite enough to get everything to work. So actions, we haven't talked about yet, have preconditions and postconditions. So this action that is going to replace our order, we can put a precondition on it that says, hey, should replace, what this means is should replace needs to be true before this action can be executed. So that's a precondition. The other thing you have to do, which is kind of on the other side, which is a little goofy, is a postcondition. So the post action of retrieving an order, once I have retrieved an order, then I can evaluate whether should replace the condition, like the status of should replace can get evaluated after I retrieve an order. With that in place, we should not see, when I start it up again, we're going to rerun the same thing for the large shirts that don't exist. And we should see it not explode this time because it won't run the method, but we should see it get stuck. If I did it right. And of course I did not. Good job, Kyle. Let's see. What did we do here? Should replace as a post condition of getting an order. Should replace is the name of this condition. Order, parts request, has inventory. Oh, sorry. Has inventory, not has inventory. You okay, Joseph? Okay. It's a live demo, baby. All right. Now when this starts back up, if I code things right. The other thing that's nice about this that I haven't talked about much is like all we're building is these tiny little methods. These are so easily unit testable. There we go. So I'm sorry, I don't know how to proceed. And what's happened is here you can see I ran get order, but this condition, we have a new condition here, should replace is false. And since that condition is false, we can't actually replace the order and we get stuck. Pretty cool. All right. Couple more things and then we'll get out of here. We have done replacing orders. I want to do refunding orders as well. And it's easy enough for us to basically copy and paste what's here, and we're going to do refunds at the same time. So let's do, instead of should replace, this will be should refund. This we can change to refund. At this time, we want to do a refund if there is, if there's inventory. Sorry, replace. Well, because how do we want to do it? I want to do a replacement if there is no inventory. Oh, this is where I goofed that up. I want to replace if there's no inventory or the user asked for a refund, right? So if I ask for a refund, you're going to get a refund. But if I didn't ask for a refund and there's no inventory, I'm still going to get a refund. So no inventory or refund. All right, so that's our condition. We can add that should refund condition again to our post conditions on getting an order. Maybe. And then we need to just go make our replace order with refund, if I can spell tonight. Refund order. This is going to be refund. Refund doesn't return a new order because it just does the refund and it doesn't give us anything back. So we'll do null and we'll chase this with refund. That should be pretty much it. Again, we didn't explicitly code any of this. We're just building a whole bunch of actions that can chain into each other. So if I start this back up and we rerun the same thing we ran previously, we should now see it make it all the way through and give us a refund instead of getting stuck. All right. All right, cool. Here's our original order. We got a refund. There was no new order. And we did it. Now I want to show you guys the planner again, because I think this one's kind of neat. Let's see. So here's our original plan. Let me zoom it up for you guys. Our original plan, we're going to parse the request, retrieve the order, replace the order, and then call adjust. That's our original plan. Then we start going through things. We call the LLM, we've parsed their order. Again, we're going to call get order, replace order, adjust order. Sounds good. We're going to grab the order out of the database. And at this point, you'll see it change. Now, we're not calling replace, we're calling refund. That hasn't showed up at all until right now. And that's because of the conditions we had, right? We might have had a plan when we first started walking that path, but once we get to a certain point and reevaluate the world around us, we're not replacing anymore, we're refunding, and the plan changes. And you'll see the actual processing a refund message. We inform the customer about a refund, and then we call it good. That's the rest of our stuff. So a really cool way to see how it replans based on the state of things that are going on. Now, real quick, I am going to switch out of this. I'm going to comment that all out. I have an existing customer support agent that I've created. The only thing that's different about this that I wanted to show you guys is I'm going to do an LLM call on the way out as well that basically gives, if I can find the message, kind of a user indication of what happened using an LLM. And so this might be something you'd want to do in a customer support sort of a thing of I'm basically saying, hey, make a professional response. Here's what we did. Let the customer know in like 100 words what happened. Here's some basic information about us. If you did a refund, it's going to show up on your card in a business day or two. We'll do a shipment replacement in 1 to 3 days. So if I do the same order again, we should see the response come out, and this time we'll get a nice LLM message. Hey, customer, thank you for your positive attitude, which is what we had, right? Regarding your order, we know you requested a replacement for a large shirt, but due to inventory limitations, we had to send a full refund instead. It'll show up on your card within a business day. You know, pretty simple. Didn't take us too long to get there. Now, you think to yourself, Kyle, this is kind of cool, but nobody really interacts with agents through the command line, and you're right, unless you're doing silly demos like us tonight. What I want to show is Embabel, because it is built on Spring and Spring AI and all these great tools, it's really easy for us to go to our application and really quickly change it from enable Spring Shell to enable agent MCP server. It is one annotation. We are now in MCP server mode. If I start up the app in MCP mode, we should see, unless the demo gods are angry at us this evening, we should see that it exposes everything that we have just been working on in an MCP server. So you will see here exposing a total of 1 MCP server prompts, and here's kind of our info. Here's our thing that is going to get exposed through our agent when it gets started up. The only other thing that we had to do here, let me find it, achieves goal. The only other thing we have to do when this starts up is, because we are in MCP server mode, when it starts up, we kind of have to export and tell people around us like, hey, this is available, right? So we have to add this extra annotation and say, hey, here's the name of my thing. It can be exposed to people outside of myself, and this is kind of what I want you to give me when you start up. And if it works right, we should be able to open the Claude if it ever loads. Good evening, Kyle. Let me make that a little bigger. Hello. I'd like to get a replacement on order ORD 123, please. And if we send that off, hopefully it will realize it's thinking about, hey, do I have a tool I can use? And I've already configured it to use my local tools. Hopefully it'll see here, hey, I have a tool called, I think it's like I called it customer support or something like that. But you can see here that Claude will send a message off to our local MCP server. You can see we got a response here, and Claude is smart enough to say, hey, your replacement got you got processed, but due to inventory limitations, we didn't get your replacement, but we sent you a refund. Pretty darn simple. I don't know. We did, how long that took? 40 minutes, 45 minutes. You went from a Spring Boot app that you guys probably have in your systems to a full MCP server in 45 minutes. It was not hard. And you guys can probably do this by yourselves. Other things, that was the end of my live coding, but we can talk more later. Other things, if you want to go deeper, I have links to all this on the last slide, so don't worry about trying to copy this. Rod Johnson on Medium, the creator of Embabel and Spring and all that good stuff, his Medium articles are great. If you want to go deeper, this was like a 101 on what this framework is. Rod's been blogging on Medium about all these cool things. He's been doing a lot of blogs on like, I'm going to go grab the most popular like Pydantic AI app or whatever Python apps are, and I want to do compares and contrasts on what my app can do and what Embabel can provide you versus what's out there today. Those are great reads if you want to go deeper. Other stuff if you want to go deeper. This doesn't show up that great here, sorry, but there's in the Embabel agent organization on GitHub, there's a tool they've built, or like an agent they've built called Tripper, which is really fun if you want to play with it. The whole premise is I want to go on a road trip. So I'm Kyle and I want to go from Des Moines to Nashville on these dates, and I want to take this much time, and I'm interested in craft beer and sports. Tell me where I should stop. What should I do? And it goes out and it scrapes and it uses a whole bunch of agents and tools. It like hits Wikipedia. It will build you a Google map. I think it also hits Airbnb and tries to find you places to stay as well. So it's super cool. If you want to see like the in-depth crap that I couldn't get to tonight, this is where you would want to go see like a really cool integration. And then this e-commerce demo app is the repo that we all just walked through. It's on GitHub, fully documented. If you guys want to play with this at home, you should be able to go clone this and play. And all those links are up there. And my LinkedIn is up here. I've been trying to post more on there about things that are going on in central Iowa. So if you want to know any of that stuff, those should be the links. And I am open to questions if anybody's got questions. I don't know, was there anything on the, Joey's got one. GOAP, I might not have. Did I explain what GOAP stood for? I don't think I did. It's goal-oriented action planning or planner. Goal-oriented. I have a goal I want to orient myself towards, and then action planner. It's kind of confusing. I'd never heard of it before, but it's not a goat. Anything? Neil's got one. What's up? Oh, that's a good question. So the question was, are there like sane defaults or anything from an MCP server standpoint from security? I'm guessing there's something in there, but I don't know off the top of my head. It's built on Spring AI, so whatever Spring AI is using for their MCP stuff, I'm assuming is hooked up. Like it was super easy to hook up, and I'm sure there's like actual security, but like if you go to Claude settings and you can just, there's like a JSON configuration file you have locally, and you just literally tell it, hey, run this npm command called MCP remote and point it at localhost 8080. Somehow it just works and it spins up your app. And when your app spins up and Claude starts up, they talk to each other and the app says, hey, I have these 10 things that you might want to call. And it just hooks up. I'm sure there's security somewhere. I don't know what it is. I know that's been kind of a hot button topic with MCP, but I have not looked at it, but I'm assuming if it's built on Spring AI, they've got something, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Good question. Anything else? Nothing. Was there anything in the chat at all? No. Cool. All right. If there's nothing else, we'll call that good. Do we want to do, I guess, yeah, that's probably about it. Then we'll do the raffle here and we'll call it good. All right. Thanks, folks online. Thank you.